Eliot with us here as we get set for training camp on Wednesday. So wait, is your favorite day like the first day, or is it like the first day of practice?
First day of practice. Yeah. So it used to be
Thursday. That would be Thursday this year.
It'd be Wednesday. They report on Tuesday and they practice on Wednesday.
All right.
I mean, it used to be back in the day when it was Lehigh. You used to go and watch them all move into their dorm rooms or whatever. But yeah, now no, we don't even go on the day they report. So it'll be the next day for the first practice.
All right. So let's before we go back to the phones and get everyone's phone calls here. What are you watching for? It's a different kind of camp because obviously they're the champions, right? Last year there was a lot of drama heading in and questions about Sirianni and Hurts. There's none of that. Like,
remember Jalen's first press conference was a huge deal.
It was monumental. There's none of that this year, right? They're coming off a championship, but they did lose a lot of players on defense, and there's a lot of youth that's going to play a lot this year. What's top of mind when you're out there coming up starting on Wednesday that you're looking at?
So I think, the number one thing for me is maybe going to surprise people, but I am very interested to see what Jahad Campbell does day one. So it's not a positional battle. It's not who's going to be out there with this unit. I think we're maybe underestimating a little bit the impact Jahad Campbell can have. I don't know if he'll be a full-time starter week one. I don't even know if, frankly, he'll be a full-time starter at all this year. I could picture a world where he plays a lot of snaps, but is not technically the starting edge or the starting linebacker. But because of the injury and because how good the team is, I think we've just completely written him off as, well, whatever he does is icing on the cake. They did lose a lot of guys on defense, and he can be an impact guy against the quarterback. So, he's putting out videos of him working out, and trust me, I'm not doing the whole Ben Simmons offseason. Like, I get it, right? But he did a little more in the offseason program than I thought he would. He had a helmet on the final day doing individual drills. Fangio says mid-August. I think he's going to play week one, so I'm excited to see Jahad Campbell.
Play inside or outside? Like inside linebacker?
You said in week one?
Yeah.
I think he will be a dressed, active player that is maybe not like on the field and to blitz the quarterback or to do some type of simple task in a sub package. I don't think he'll be a full-time starter week one.
Okay. All right, let me ask you a question about something that I've been monitoring. Now, it might change soon here because it seems like the domino is starting to fall. Am I correct in that their second-round pick, Makuba, has not signed yet?
Yeah, so Makuba is the only rookie they have not signed yet. If you've been following what's happening in the second round of the draft, essentially, I forget who the first player to sign was, but somebody very early on, I think it was the 34th overall pick, got a fully guaranteed deal. Every single penny of it fully guaranteed.
And that doesn't happen with second-round
picks.
And
that doesn't happen with most NFL players, let alone second-round picks. And so because of that, I think like 80% of the second-round picks are unsigned, and that number is shrinking quickly because now they're starting to sign. But yeah, Makuba is not signed yet. I would be shocked if he's not out there at practice next Wednesday. I think they'll get the deal done. A few players around his draft slot have now signed, so he might even sign today. But yeah, as of now, he is not signed.
So I have a question, but I'm curious because you're at all the training camp practices. You've seen all these for a lot of years. One of the biggest questions I feel like we've kind of pushed on the back burner is that they have a new coordinator. It's Petulo.
Yeah.
Like we're doing this again. Can you tell in training camp about a coordinator in the offense, or does you have to wait till the season?
I don't think you can tell.
Okay.
In training camp.
Yeah, because I mean it's a huge deal. Again, and think about the track record. Like when they've gone from outside the organization, whether it be Kellen Moore or Steichen, it's worked. And then the one time they promoted directly from within on the staff was Brian Johnson. That didn't work. So I hope that breaks the trend. But I have no idea what to expect from Petulo.
So my number one concern with the team this year is the offensive coordinator spot. And it's not even really about Petulo. Like, if another team hired Petulo to be their head coach, I would think it is a good hire. I think personality-wise, he has head coach traits. I think being around Nick as long as he has is a positive, and clearly him and Nick are successful together. But in my experience covering the Eagles, the years after championship runs, whether that's winning the Super Bowl or going, are really, really hard. And for the most part, they've coincided with a change at coordinator. In fact, if you look over the past, I did this recently, I think it was the past 25 years, there's not many examples of a team losing their primary offensive play caller for the following year. The Eagles lost Frank Reich, but Doug was the primary play caller. The Eagles then again in 2023 lost Steichen in 23 off 2022. But outside of that, we have this perception that great coaching staffs, when you're good, you lose the guys. Maybe I missed a team, but I couldn't come up with more than 2 or 3 teams in the last 25 years that have lost their primary play caller the year after they go to the Super Bowl.
Well, part of it, and it's like
because Belichick's a lot of them,
right? And Andy is,
right? So and McVay,
Shanahan. I mean, Shanahan hasn't won, but we've accepted that we don't have a play calling head coach. But this is part of the challenge with that.
Correct. So my concern with the team next year is, are they going to have a counterpunch when every team has spent all offseason figuring out how to stop them? To me, the offensive coordinator role is not so much about the scheme itself. It's about coming up with solutions to problems.
And that's what Brian Johnson could do.
And that's they weren't good at that. The blitz, right? Yeah. They could not adjust to the blitz. Now, I think part of that was Jalen, but regardless. So my biggest concern with this team is the offensive coordinator spot.
What's interesting is the 2 favorites in the NFC are the Eagles and Lions. They both lost their play
Now,
call. The
Lions, I think, are in a way worse situation. Well, they've lost both coordinators and their head coach. I'm assuming his specialty is offense because didn't he play tight end? But
he
I don't think he's viewed
early
as
in his tenure there.
Yeah.
But you're right. But the 2 favorites in the conference both lost their play caller.
Yeah. Now at least the Eagles kept their defensive guy.
Yes. Well, and he's probably the most important guy they have. All right. So Wednesday it all starts. Training camp with the Eagles. This segment sponsored by McGurk's Pub and Grill. McGurk's summer menu is back, featuring a mouth-watering smash burger, lobster roll, and fresh seafood items. Grab your crew and head over to McGurk's this weekend. The ring ceremony's tonight, right? They're getting the rings
tonight. Finally.
It's so weird that it's so late. I know it got canceled, right?
So it's not their decision.
They were supposed to do it in June.
The rings were not ready by their original date. But so I was asking you this in the pre-show meeting. Now that they have 2 Super Bowls now, and we see that, right? When they bring the Lombardi places, they bring the other one. Yep. If you look at the side of the link, they have. Would you put both trophies on the ring?
No,
I wouldn't either. But I think there's a shot they do it. Because if you look at the Patriots, they started to do it. When they had 2, 3, there's a bunch on the side of that ring.
I just feel for the guys on last year's team. I mean, how many were also on the first team that won it in 17?
It'd be like Lane, Jake Elliott, Lovato, Brandon.
It's few, right? It's 5 or 6, maybe.
Is that all of them?
That might be it. Yeah. So, like, for everybody else, why do they want the other ring? They've only earned 1.
I agree with you. I think that they need to separate the 2 rings a little bit. The 2 trophies, I mean.
Yeah, if I'm a guy that was just on this team and not the first one, I don't want the other one.
It was funny. I was at an event this offseason. It was actually for the FIFA Club World Cup, and AJ was there. And the boat trophies were there. And he was going to take a picture, at the event. And he noticed he was standing next to the 17 one. And he was like, let me stand next to mine. Yeah, so I do think there's a little bit of that with the rings.